My guess is you've heard it all before. You dream and wish that you'll be able to retire early. You see other people on social media claiming that they're doing so and living life on their terms. Well, the reality is this. As we become adults, it's drummed into us that we've got to work hard, make lots of money, and then in our spare time, we can live life on our terms. But rarely does it work out like that. And very often people get depressed because they see on social media apparently lots of other people living life on their terms and living their dream. Well, my name is Roy and I'm going to share with you some home secrets here, okay, to give you something to think about. Now, I've been involved in property for a very long time. I loved everything about property, and as I became more and more interested in it, I became more involved, hands-on, and so on and so on. And then as I got older, okay, I'm not that old, but as I got older, you know, the aches and pains began to kick in, and I began to realize I wasn't able physically to do everything that I loved doing. So what does that mean? It means as you get older, you've got to think and plan ahead. Now, very often in the early adult years of our lives, do we rarely consider that to the extent that maybe by the time we get to 55, we should be in a position at least to be able to retire, or to think about possibly retiring in a couple of years after that. Now, between the ages of 25 and 55, which is 30 years, okay, we all seem to just work hard, bring up a family, enjoy the spare time, as they say, as and when we can, which is great. There's nothing wrong with that. Now, if at the early stages of your adulthood and career, you were to invest wisely, okay, and create an income that would help you maybe consider retiring early, debt-free, isn't that something that maybe we should be taught in schools and consider early on in our lives? Now, if you're somebody who's quite young and watching this video, okay, my advice is this. Between the ages of 25 and 55, which as I say, 30 years, okay, yes, you can work hard, but plan early. Plan early and save early so that you can retire early. Now, when people say, oh, they're old and they're retired, you're not really old just because you've retired. Because between the ages of 55 and say 85, which is, you know, the lifespan of most people, 80, 85, that's another 30 years that you can enjoy. So if you were to retire at 55, okay, and you're quite active, you're still very feeling young in yourself, okay, you're able to do all the things that you were able to do at the age of 30, okay, why not be able to do that without having to work? Now, this is the one thing that I think a lot of people don't really consider, because from the age of 55 to 65, you're still very active. And if you've retired at 55, you're probably doing all the things that you've wanted to do. Maybe you're traveling, you're maybe looking after your grandchildren, maybe if you've got any, maybe you're enjoying the gym more, you're going out doing all your hobbies because you've got all the time in the world to do it. So between the ages of 55 and 65, you're still very active and so on. But after 65, maybe your health starts to decline a little bit. I'm not saying, so much so that you can't do anything. It might be that maybe you can't do 50 press-ups. Instead, you can only do 10. Okay, maybe you can't go on a 10-mile walk. Maybe you can only do up 2 miles. But you're still enjoying life, and you're adapting to the lifestyle based on your health. Okay, and of course the money that you've got to be able to do that. So if you invest wisely from an early stage towards your retirement, okay, whilst still living life on your terms, okay, because at the end of the day, there's no good putting all of your money and investments at an early age into, say, stocks and shares or property or whatever you decide to invest in, because at the end of the day, you still got to live life. And people very often say, live for today, not tomorrow, which is great. You've got to have that good work-life balance, haven't you? But if you start to invest wisely, regardless of your age, not forgetting that still between the ages of 55 and 85, but that's still a big opportunity whereby you can discover yourself, discover the world, and discover other interests, okay? You're not old. Retirement doesn't mean you're old. It means that you can enjoy life. And I think that's where a lot of people get mixed up with in their mindset, because they think, oh, retirement, I don't have to think about that. You know, I've still got another 10 years before I retire. But then it's too late, because if you haven't invested wisely beforehand, by the time you decide that you want to retire, or you're forced to retire because of maybe bad health or something else that's happened in your life, it's too late. So you struggle for the next maybe 30 years between the age of 55 or even, an 85, or whether it's 60, between 20 years. It's a new life. When you retire, you start a new life, a life that you create on your terms. You wake up when you want to wake up. You do what you want to do when you want to do it. And you do it with whoever you want to do it, based on how much income and money you've got available. So the purpose of this video is really to make you try and understand that if you learn and educate yourself in planning your retirement early, okay, now, not tomorrow, not the next day, not the next day, okay, now, then when retirement age comes, whatever that age may be, then grab it, because at the end of the day, life is too short. So, just to recap, between the ages of 25 and 55, you're working, right? You're hopefully at your most active. You've got all the, the mindset and the ability and the strength and the motivation to work. Now, if you work wisely and invest your time wisely and invest your money wisely, that period between the ages of 25 and 55 can be a lot easier than it has to be. So whether you're working full time and you're investing, say, in property, okay, to create a passive income, which means that's a regular income that maybe you're getting from a rental property, or whether you've invested in stocks and shares and you're creating a passive income that way. Whenever you put some money aside towards retirement at an early age and on a regular basis, that investment will grow. So then you've got more choices by the time that you decide, intentionally or unintentionally, on whether you want to retire or not. Now, property for me has been a passion, okay? From the very, very early age, I've loved everything about property. I've been hands-on, okay? But what I didn't realize at the very start when I had a passion for property is I was a busy fool. Okay, and by that I mean I loved getting involved. I loved digging holes. I loved working on machinery. I loved helping out other trades. I loved doing all the work I possibly can. But that prevented me from thinking and concentrating on retirement at that time, because I was so much hands-on, working long hours, 12, 15, even on occasions 18-hour days. I was then tired and I didn't think about anything else. So I had that typical day-to-day momentum, yeah? I got up, I worked hard, I came home, I was tired, didn't have much time to spend with the family, became a workaholic, and before I knew it, I had aches and pains as I was getting older. So now as I've got older, I can't do as much physically, but what I can do is think more and invest more on to create more income for me and my family to be able to do the things we want to do. Now, if you do that from a very early age, which is what I'm enticing all of you who are listening, who are young enough to start doing that, and remember, you're never too old to do anything as far as I'm concerned, do it now, okay? So if property is something that you'd like to, learn more about, then by all means get in touch. I'd love to be able to teach you exactly how to do that. Like I say, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, please do, and click the icon that pops up over there. If you want to see any of the other videos that pop up, please do, because at the end of the day, I'm here to help you start your property investment journey wisely and profitably. Until next time, folks, I hope to see you soon on my next video. As I always say, ciao for now.